Welcome to Food Talk for Health. Here is your host, Tonia King.
Thanks for joining me today. On Food Talk for Health, we explore food as medicine, practical nutrition tips, and how diet and lifestyle can help prevent disease. Each episode features passionate guests sharing their knowledge to help you eat better, feel better, and live healthier. Glad you could join me today. My guest today is Keith Westphal, founder of Blue World Health. And thanks for joining me today, Keith.
It's a pleasure to be here.
What is Blue World Health?
Blue World Health is kind of an offshoot of our flagship service or product, which is Blue World Foods, which is a 501c3 nonprofit. And since I had cancer 7 years ago, it has become my mission to kind of figure out why we're so sick in this country.
Right.
And it's been a long road. You know, I'm a big fan of the blue zones and all the longevity experts. We just don't get it. We have so much availability to everything, diversity of food, gym, and you don't really need a gym to be healthy, but everything is available to us here in this country. And we are literally the sickest nation on the planet. 76% of us here in the U.S. have one or more chronic diseases. And that dumbfounded me for a while. And I had to do something. First I had to figure it out for myself.
Right.
But in struggling through that process, even to figure out how to get all your nutrients, 90 some of them, even the 37 or 39 that the USDA tracks as an enormous database of. It's very difficult to know that you're getting the right nutrients.
It sounds like you have realized or discovered how important food as medicine is.
Oh, and I love that program that they started at Tufts University. Food as medicine. It's about time that a major institution has started to tackle this problem. We are fighting against a couple of massive machines that profit off of us being sick, and there are some incredibly smart, talented neuroscientists, doctors that have done amazing research, let's say on literally, and this isn't well known either, that you can reverse cognitive decline, dementia, Alzheimer's. The statistics from Dr. Dale Bredesen, Dr. Dean Ornish are very consistent. 84% reversal rate, and nobody knows that. Yet, Big Pharma, they have an axe to grind here. They have about $100 billion invested in Alzheimer's medications that don't work. So anybody that comes up with a natural approach, a lifestyle protocol, they do anything they can to discredit them.
So what has your research found, and what have you experienced as a cancer survivor? What has worked for you?
That's a great question, because I like probably most people, before my diagnosis, I was suffering from 5 chronic diseases. 4 of the 5 didn't hurt. High blood pressure, high triglycerides, high LDL. I started to wake up a little bit when I got Barrett's esophagus, because that hurt my esophagus. I was able to get that to go away pretty quickly. All my doctors, my primary care, my internist all tried to get me on proton pump inhibitors. And I asked my internist, I'm not going to do that. What is the best way forward naturally?
Did you seek out a functional medicine doctor or something, or did you just take it upon yourself to do your own research?
I took it upon myself to do my own research. And then, in the process of that, I didn't address, all of the things that didn't hurt. They were just bad lab numbers,
Sure.
Like the high blood pressure, obesity. I felt as though I was doing fine. I think that's probably one of the problems with a lot of diseases is you can ignore it for a long time. Once I got diagnosed with cancer, I was depressed for a while, but I figured I needed to survive because of my kids. So I started digging into the research. I have since then, studied over 4,000 clinical papers on epigenetics, how our lifestyle, what we eat, how we sleep, everything, toxins we're exposed to, how that all changes our genetic expression and makes us sick. It's the core, it's kind of the root cause of almost every chronic disease is how we live. Our DNA brings us, sometimes our DNA brings us to the unfortunate finish line, like with hemophilia, um, things like cystic fibrosis. You have those from birth. All the other ones are polygenetic diseases, and you're predisposed to hundreds of things. You don't get to that unfortunate finish line with those polygenetic diseases unless your lifestyle starts flipping other genetic malfunctions. And those biomarkers that are placed on our genes that cause more dysfunction can be reversed. But like I said, big pharma, big food, they don't want people to know that because big food is in the process of selling us junk that flips a lot of those switches. And big pharma and the healthcare industry, they have no incentive to make us healthy.
So your approach then was changing your diet? Did you add supplements? I mean, give me some more details on what you did to actually rid yourself of cancer.
Well, I had to have the cancer cut out.
Okay.
But in the process of recovery and doing everything I possibly could so that it wouldn't come back, because I did not do chemo, I did not do radiation. And I asked my oncologist, and this is where kind of the beginning of my research, how and why my research started. I asked my oncologist, well, what do I do now going forward? How do I keep my immune system at peak operating performance levels? And he shrugged his shoulders and he said, I don't know. That's not my expertise.
I
So
guess you were on your own at that
I,
point.
I realized, hey, I'm on my own. So that's when I started reading and studying. And, one of the first articles that I came across was Dr. Dale Bredesen's amazing results with reversing dementia. And that's what had happened to my dad. And I started to realize as a couple of years and a lot of reading and studying passed that of the thousand or so lifestyle errors we can make, there are probably about 100, 90 to 100 that are absolutely critical. If you don't get those right, you're going to head towards problems. And if you've been doing some, most, or all of them wrong, it's never too late to reverse course and be healthier. So that's the path I went down. The path was to find out everything I needed to do when it came. And at first, I think like most people, that it was diet or nutrition, exercise, and sleep. That those were the three pillars of good health. But they are, but there are six others like neuroplasticity, stress. And then under all of those categories, there are dozens of things that negatively or positively affect our lifestyle. And you mentioned supplements. I'm not a big fan of supplements, although I do take one. My cancer was stage 2B desmoplastic melanoma, which has zero genetic component. It's unfortunately just been getting fried in the sun too much. The way forward in my mind is no supplements unless you have to. Always, always, if you can, the best way to get your nutrition is from whole food.
But, I've talked to so many people that have said to me, you'd have to really load yourself up with so much food to equal what one supplement might do. Eating whole foods is, to me, the way to go. But I'm wondering your thought process on that. as far as having to eat the quantity you would need to make sure you get the right nutrition.
Well, that's exactly one of my first conundrums. When I started to think to myself, okay, I need to support my immune system so this
Right.
cancer doesn't come back. I had about a 50-50 shot at that point. Now that I'm beyond the 5 years, the statistics are that shouldn't come back. When I first started going down this path of how do I support my immune system, again, mistakenly thought there's just three pillars: the sleep, the exercise, and the diet. I thought, okay, well, I can certainly sleep a little bit better. That sounds easy. I just exercise. It turns out the best exercise in the world is walking. Everybody can do that. So I thought, let me turn my sights to the nutrition part. There are about 91 essential micro and macronutrients. The USDA tracks 37, I think. They have an enormous database and with thousands of foods in it, and how much of each of those essentials are in each one of those food products. So I thought, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go through that database and I'm going to find the things that fill all 39 buckets, and I'll eat that stuff. You can do that with 50,000 calories a day pretty easily, but we'd all end up the size of a house, right?
Exactly.
So I thought, okay, so I'm going to have to kind of optimize this equation somehow by picking the foods that supply those nutrients, but at a minimum calorie cost. And that was an enormously difficult task.
Yeah.
I'm an ex-computer scientist, programmer. I couldn't figure that out. It's a very complex mathematical problem to work through a database and come up with solutions that give you all nutrients yet minimize calories. And we created a program that does both. It minimizes calories and maximizes nutrition. And we wanted it to be all plant-based. It falls short in a couple different things because we didn't want there to be meat in it. Because we wanted this to be more easily stored, shelf life stable. So it's all plant-based. And it fills about all but 3 or 4 of those categories. When you look at the ingredients, the first thing that kind of comes to mind is minestrone soup.
Well, that's a big blue
Okay.
zone thing.
Yes, it is. So this is kind of a blue zone soup on steroids. And I hate to say steroids because there are no steroids in it. But it's all natural, all organic, all plant-based, and it fills 36 of the 39 nutrient buckets.
I'm trying to understand when you say you've created these things. So Blue World Health is also Blue World Foods. Is that right? Am I getting that
Okay,
correct?
so we started as Blue World Foods. Blue World
Okay.
Foods is the 501c3 that has
Okay.
created or is in the process of creating that soup. This one soup recipe that has literally, no exaggeration, by design, this is the most nutrient dense, nutrient diverse meal, if you want to call this bowl of soup a meal, ever created on the face of the earth, because that's what
Ever
we set out to do.
created. Come on, Keith.
Ever created that, because this, and it was a very difficult problem to solve. But it has been the objective of Blue World Foods to create the most nutrient dense, nutrient diverse meal.
Very
And
cool.
like,
So you got to tell us what's in it. I mean, normally minestrone is vegetables, beans, maybe little pasta in there, and a really good broth. What is in yours?
so the main ingredients are things like kale,
Mm-hmm.
and some of these are going to sound interesting or different for a soup, but when you look at all of them, right, that satisfy those nutrient buckets, there are some different things in there that you probably wouldn't put into a soup, like
So tell me, I
asparagus.
need to know.
It's things like kale, asparagus, um, cauliflower. When you look at all of those main ingredients, you kind of think as I said, I'm not sure if that's going to taste very good. It's weird. So we have enlisted, we have another person on our team who is a Michelin star chef, and he is in charge of the final recipe. He's taking the different versions of the different recipes for this soup, and he'll be adding the appropriate spices and herbs to make it as palatable as possible.
That's
Um,
good.
so that it can be, something that people can turn to who probably aren't getting all the right nutrition, and it will be open, serve, and enjoy. It's going to be kind of formulated as both a serve hot or cold, kind of like a gazpacho. So
Hmm.
you don't even have to heat it. You can just open up the jar and have it as one of your meals for the day.
So you're producing this and making it available to people to buy.
Yes, we're hoping to go into production this fall.
Oh, all right. So it's not available yet.
Not yet. Right. That's Blue World Foods. Actually, for anybody that wants to get on the waiting list, there'll be a discount for anybody that's on the waiting list. We have quite a large list already.
What's the
Um,
website?
the website for that is blueworldharvest.com.
We're talking with Keith Westphal, founder of Blue World Health. Do you have a website that we should direct people to, or how do you want us to find out more about Blue World Foods and everything that you're doing?
Well, there's actually two URLs. Everybody can go to blueworldfoods.org.
Okay.
That's kind of the parent site for everything. To specifically, and there's a tab for the course that and the support group that we have, which is Blue World Health. You can also go directly to that page by going to blueworldhealth.com. We're on Instagram, we're on Facebook, we're on LinkedIn, all at Blue World Health.
Oh, good. Well, Keith, it's really a pleasure chatting with you. And I find it really interesting what you're doing. Blue World Foods fascinates me, especially with your minestrone soup recipe. Can't wait to be able to try that when that's available.
All right, Tony, it was a pleasure being on your show.
You've been listening to Food Talk for Health with Tonia King. Thanks for joining us. Eat well to be well.
I'm Tonia King. Thanks so much for listening to Food Talk for Health today. Subscribe to the podcast so you never miss an episode. And we'd love it if you'd leave a rating or a review. You can follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Food Talk for Health is produced by Creative Voice and Media. Our theme was written and performed by Rick King. Thanks for tuning in to Food Talk for Health.